All right, here we go. Well, I gotta get permission in a minute or whatever.
Dan, the audio sound okay on this?
Do I? What?
Does my audio sound okay?
It sounds okay. It's not as good as that other mic, but it'll work.
What happens if you forget the cord? 9.5 years, I should figure it out sooner or later.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Well, folks, welcome to another edition of Firing Line Radio Show. This is Philip Naiman. Hope you're having a great weekend out here in Southern California and places beyond, wherever you happen to be listening to the show at. This week, I have a very special guest. I have Austin from Huntinfool.com. Huntinfool.com is the proper way to pronounce that if you're from Tennessee. Say Huntinfool.com. That's the best way to go about that. Huntinfool.com is a service that you need, especially at this time of year, if you have any interest in hunting big game, especially in the Western United States. Austin, how are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Now you're coming in from Utah right now. You guys just had a giant storm out there in Cedar City. How's everything looking?
It's looking good. We got a little nervous with the drought we've been having. The last couple of months were kind of dry, but this last storm really hammered us good, and we need it here in southern Utah really bad.
Yeah, so Cedar City, folks, if you've not been out there, it's really a beautiful area. You know, we've got the red hills. You can climb up the hills, drive up the hill, no climbing. Drive up the hill to Panguitch, get some monster trout out of that lake. It's a beautiful sportsman's paradise that you've landed in there in Cedar City.
Yeah, we love it here. I moved my family here about 7 years ago, and we've loved it ever since.
Very good. I think after a couple dozen years, you can consider yourself a native. Right now, they still look at you suspect, right?
100%.
I know Prescott's the same way over here. So Huntinfool.com. Huntinfool is a really good service when it comes to giving information for people, not just about hunting, but how to get drawn. Because in the Western United States, there are very few states you could actually get an over-the-counter deer tag. So if you're not planning ahead, folks, about when you want to hunt, what you want to hunt, where you want to hunt, you're going to find yourself come October, November, you might as well start taking up golf because you're out of luck. So Austin, run them through that kind of a process.
Yeah, it's an interesting problem we have here, mainly in the Western United States, is we have a very limited supply of animals and we've got a lot of hunters. And so our service basically tries to get our readers, our subscribers on more hunts with better information. So as you navigate the draw process, as you plan a multi-year strategy, that's where we come in and help you sort through all the regulations and the junk you get from these state agencies. We're going to give you the Cliff Notes version. We're going to make it easy, and we're going to get you on all of these hunts. You, your family, your friends, you've dreamed about coming out west. We want to be the center hub to help you plan these trips.
Give you the best opportunity. Now, you said the draw process. So let's just say that I've decided that, geez, you know, I've bought myself my first rifle. I want to go hunting this year. What do you mean draw process from the beginning? What is that?
Yeah, most of these states out here in the West have a lottery draw system because everybody wants to go. Not everybody gets to kill one. The states will set up a lottery.
Not even everybody gets to go.
That's right. So you have to plan ahead in most of these states and apply yourself or pay a non-refundable fee to put yourself in this hat, if you will. And if your name gets drawn, you can have the tag and you can go hunting. Totally different than maybe a whitetail hunt on the East Coast where you can shoot multiple deer a year, pick up the tag at the sporting goods store and go. Totally different out west.
Exactly. We have a very strict management on the animals out here. Now, let's just talk about the different big game animals that are available on the West Coast. Say, you know, west of the Mississippi, exclude whitetails. We're Western hunters.
Yeah.
You can throw coos in, but other than that, yeah. So tell them about the different animals that are available for a big game Western hunt.
Most everybody, when they dream of coming west, they'll think about elk hunting first. Elk is a big species, and elk exists in most of these western states. Now, every state has a different process of how you go about getting that permit, whether you have to apply for multiple years and earn what we call points, which gives you more loyalty as you go, or you could get a tag your first year that you apply and have authorization to go hunt elk. But we've got elk, we've got mule deer, we've got bears, black bears. And then the big species, we've got bighorn sheep, we've got Shiras moose, mountain goat, all the other stuff that is even more difficult to obtain a tag in the lottery draw. But all of those, every state's got them in some different way. You got to get the tag if you want to go hunt them.
So in California, they instituted a draw system about 19 years ago. And I know that because I have 19 points. I have not got my first choice for almost 20 years in California. That's how much they love me up in Excremento. I think they purposely pull my name out of the hat. So anyway, so for bighorn sheep, there's limited numbers. They may only have probably about 20 tags available in the entire state. And you might have 10,000 people applying for those 20 tags, something in that range. I like to make up numbers as I go. It sounds more dramatic that way.
Yeah.
You may actually have the right information. I'm hyperbole all the way. So, you have these points that is supposed to give you a better odds of getting drawn eventually. So some states have points that you have to buy every year or you lose them. Some states you have to buy a hunting license just to be in the drawing, and then see if you win or don't win. So some of those states is, I think, Arizona is like that, Nevada, any of the other, California, any of the others.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way in Colorado, in Utah, in Wyoming, Montana.
Colorado, they just changed that. You have to buy a small game license for $85 just to be in the drawing.
You do. Yep. They're trying to figure out how to suck as much money out of non-resident applications as they can. So it does turn into a budget game, and you need to set a budget, say, this is what I'm willing to donate to conservation, if you will, and try to have a chance at drawing a permit in multiple states.
So you mentioned elk hunting. Most people think of Western hunting as elk hunting. And there are some states you can buy an over-the-counter elk tag. I think, Idaho, Colorado, any others?
Yep. So Utah still has a lot of those opportunities. Most of the good opportunities with the over-the-counter tags, you have to only shoot a spike bull. So you couldn't shoot a big branch antlered bull, but you could hunt spikes every year in Utah on an over-the-counter tag.
And cow tags.
Correct. Yep. We have antlerless tags as well. Oregon and Washington also have over-the-counter elk permits for archery or rifle. That's another option for guys. And then we have states like Wyoming and Montana that you do need to apply and build points, but it could take you only 2 or 3 years to get an elk tag in those states.
Okay. And Wyoming has a special thing where they talk about if you only want to pay your standard fee, then you have a lower chance of getting drawn. But if you let us put both hands in your pockets and raid you for a substantially higher fee, then you might actually get to hunt this year, right? It's green mail all the way around.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. It is not getting any cheaper. And where the demand is high, especially the last 2 years since COVID, it really pushed a lot of people to want to go outside. The demand for hunting and fishing licenses is through the roof. And consequently, it's driven the states to raise their prices to generate more revenue because the demand is there. They can charge whatever they want. And so it's not getting any cheaper.
So you're new to the show, so I'm going to give you a little breakdown. Let's just say a guy's driving around Saturday afternoon. He's got his wife in the car, right? She's actually letting him listen to this show, right? The last thing we want to do is say how much something costs. So everything costs about $100. Okay, yeah. It's about $100. Your mileage may vary, but we don't know what he told her. We're not gonna get into trouble. Everything's about $100. So we just work with that framework.
That's right. It's an investment, right?
your contribution to conservation
Right.
is one way. So yeah, your mileage may vary, but count on around $100 or so, something in that range. There are some tags you can buy over the counter, but just like real estate, it's location, location, location. There's a reason the Ponsagont is an impossible tag to get, or Area 10 in Arizona, or 61 in Colorado. Talk about that.
Yeah, so a lot of guys say, I just want to hunt the very best. And if I get drawn for a permit, I want to hunt the very best, biggest animals in that state. Well, that's great. But the reality is the demand is so high, you could wait a lifetime or two and still never get that tag. So it depends on what your tolerance is of draw odds. If I look at a draw odd and say, it's 0.1%, or 1 in 1,000, I'm not going to put it on my calendar yet. I don't think I'm going to get that tag.
See, I'm the other way. Put it all on black. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Philip Naiman Firing Line Radio Show. We're going to take a break right here with Austin with Huntinfool.com. We'll be right back after this. Well, it's so, in California, I've got 19 points. Why would I take anything but trying to get the one? I'm stuck. I'm in that rut. I'm not going to waste 19 for something I could have got with 2 or 3 points, just so I could hunt in California. I'll hunt out of state, but it becomes insanity. And I think as we come back from this next break, talking about how to plan out a strategy that can at least get you an opportunity for one good hunt a year, may not be the same one every year, but one good hunt a year would be a good idea.
Okay.
Oops. Some idiot didn't turn his cell phone off. Told you, 9.5 years, I should figure this out.
You ready?
Go, Dan.
Here we go.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick.
Hey, folks, welcome back to Boomstick Radio. This is Philip Naiman here, and every week we like to talk about our favorite place in Southern California, and that happens to be Bullseye Sports Guns and Ammo in Riverside, between Arlington and Central off of Brockton. Now, I gave you the heads up last week about that fantastic 9mm sale, and hopefully you went down and got it all. But if you didn't, I'll bet you Big Vince is working on something for St. Patty's Day. So we're going to see how we could figure out Irish whiskey and firearm sales together, but I'm sure he's going to have something for you. So go down there to Bullseye Sports Guns and Ammo in Riverside, 951-823-0211. Say, hey, I want the St. Patrick's Day special. He won't know what that is because he's Cuban, but we'll figure something out. So check him out at Bullseye Sports Guns and Ammo, bullseyesport.com. Hey, back here, folks, I have Austin from Huntinfool. Huntinfool.com is the website. You want to go there, and there's membership services, and we'll talk about what that does for you and why you really want to look into that. But you can also see that they have an outfitting service, meaning that they hook you up with different guides, and you have an opportunity to look for what's available at this point in time and purchase them, even if you're not a member. You should always be a member, but you still have options if you're not. But be a member. Austin, we talked a little bit about a strategy to enable yourself to hunt in some good areas over time. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, there's really no excuse, even in today's day and age, to not have a hunt to go on this fall. You should.
That's what I tell my wife. I say, honey, there's no excuse. I got it.
I tell my wife, everything is a once in a lifetime opportunity, honey. Just hang on. I'll be right back, because this is my one and only chance. But realistically, you should be able to hunt every single year. There is a deer hunt, there is an elk hunt or an antelope hunt that you can do every single year, and not for a lot of money. I'm not talking just about big, expensive guided hunts. I'm talking about take your family and friends and go on a hunt. If you're willing to jump states and change states every year, we'll get you in a rotation.
And plan. But it all comes down to the planning process. You are providing a planning service. If you don't plan, you're golfing all fall. because
That's-
you failed.
That's right. We have a cost calculation system where we can build your plan based off of how much you want to spend, keep you within a budget. We also have
What can I get for $100?
if you're a youth hunter, you could get a lot, but an adult hunter, not as much as we used to get. I'll
There
say
you
that.
go. Good answer.
But yeah, you can hunt every single year. And so a lot of guys that want to hunt mule deer and elk will get you on a rotation. We'll build a strategy. So you're building points in some states, and you're also obtaining over the counter tags in some states. And you can hunt every single year. There's no reason not to. Most of the hunts I go on, I don't have a big hunting budget, but I do pick and choose my opportunities so that I can go experience new places. I hunt Colorado as often as possible. I hunt Wyoming on a rotation. Of course, I live in Utah, so I hunt there in between when I can, but every year I want to be in Arizona for a hunt, or I want to be in Montana for a hunt. I just want these opportunities while they still exist, because things always change. It's not getting easier.
And that's an interesting point too, while they still exist. Yeah. So a typical strategy then. So there are some states, let's say that somebody is brand new, here's the show, gets on the website, says, man, I want to go. Well, we can't put in for elk in Wyoming this year. That already closed, right? I think one of the other states, Montana's closed too, isn't it?
Montana will still be open for deer and elk, but next week we start running into some more deadlines where Wyoming sheep, moose, and goat will close. Utah will close for all species. So we're coming up on the application deadlines, and that's mainly January through June is when you apply for hunts and make sure you don't miss the deadline.
I think it's I usually do a show at the end of the year, kind of a planning, just helping people, what do you want to do next year? And, setting goals, whether it's shooting IDPA or long distance, whatever it is. But it's like, you have to take a look the next 12 months, where do you want to be? And it's especially important if you're hunting. You just finished, if you've been hunting, you just finished your hunting season. Now's the time to break out the calendar and see, where do I want to go next year? And December is a good time to put that on the calendar, because all of a sudden March 15th rolls around and I can't get into Utah. April 4th passes and I can't get into Colorado. It's like, wait a minute, you're busy, you're at work, you're doing your taxes, and now you can't go. So a service like yours puts that all together for them. So how does somebody utilize you for that?
We're pretty much an open book. Once you're a member of our website, you can get on and access all of our deadline tools, cost planning tools, and multi-year strategy tools for a do-it-yourself guy. You can also call in, and we offer full personal consultations. I have 10 hunt advisors, and that's all we do full time is answer phones, answer emails, and build a strategy for you. Guys, call in, tell us, these are the species and the priority that I want to hunt. This is my approximate budget per year. What should I do? And that's where we consult back and put a strategy together. Think of us as your hunting secretary, or your hunting assistant. Of course, we're professionals at it, but we will help you build a strategy, because there's not a cookie cutter strategy on my website for everybody. Some guys care more about elk than deer. Some guys just want to hunt sheep. Whatever it may be, we're going to put that together in a strategy that makes sense for you.
Hey, we all just want to hunt sheep.
Yeah, we definitely do.
How hard are you going to stretch that $100?
Yeah.
Are you just in the States? Do you do any international bookings?
Yeah, as far as our booking agency side, where we sell outfitted hunts for you to go on, we primarily cover North America, so Alaska, Canada, the US, and Mexico. But we do have connections with international hunts if you want to do that as well. A few of us here in the office, we've hunted Africa, we've hunted Europe, and we can help connect you there. But we're primarily seen as a North American hub.
So if somebody's brand new to hunting, where would you suggest they start?
And you're brand new to hunting, one of my first questions is, are you an archery hunter? Are you a rifle hunter? Are you willing to do either one of those? The archery craze is getting more popular.
It's
But
going crazy. I mean, Cameron Haynes is like lighting the world on fire. Everybody thinks they can shoot 120 yards into an elk now.
but I will say archery does still have some opportunities that are easier to obtain and get because there's less people that archery hunt. Where if you're strictly a rifle hunter, that funnels you into, you know, less opportunities overall. But, you know, Colorado is a great state for an over-the-counter elk hunt. To get a permit, it's still easy. You can hunt October and November during their middle rifle seasons. And you could do that every year. That's a great way to get outside and to see if you like hunting, right?
Yeah.
See if you like chasing elk.
So I would say, I do like your idea on archery. There are expanded seasons for archery hunters. In California, there's a couple of hunts that run from September to the end of December for deer. It's archery only. But if you just grab a stick bow and climb those mountains for 4 months that first year, and you don't miss a weekend or as often as you can go, that one season, trying to hunt archery in Southern California will teach you so much about deer hunting. You'll be an expert anywhere else you go. You know, in the mountains above LA, they have a deer density of maybe 0.75 per square mile. That sucks, right?
Yeah.
And poor little things, all they do is eat rocks and anyway, they have a rough life up there. But if you can figure out how to hunt deer like that in that terrain and get up on them with an archery shot, and with that nice long season, it's called the A31. That's where I learned to hunt, is hiking up and down those mountains. You know, all of a sudden you put yourself in Colorado, you're like, there's a deer, there's a deer, there's a deer. You know, it's a whole different game changer when there's actually animals to find. But the other part is in Arizona, I believe they have a season that pretty much runs several months also for archery.
Yep.
I think it's a month long for Colorado archery elk. It's an entire month of September, like 2nd through the 30th. So you do have an expanded season as opposed to 5 days, 7 days, 9 days for most rifle hunts.
That's true. And there's something to be said about time in the field. I see a lot of guys that wait too long just applying in the draw for a hunt. You know, someday I'll get this permit, someday I'll go. And they're missing a lot of experiences. You know, my motto is always don't wait. You need to go now. You need to try it. And if you want to get more into hunting and kill more animals, well, go kill lesser animals now. Go to Texas and hunt hogs, or go
It's
to
a once in
Arizona.
a lifetime event.
Yeah,
Every time.
that's right.
Hey folks, Philip Naiman, Fireman Radio Show. Check us out at firemanradio.com for the podcast, by the YouTube channels, stuff like that. We're here with Austin from Huntinfool. We'll be right back after this. Huntinfool.com. Yeah, I literally started, I was 17 years old. My mom would not let me own a firearm, so I went and bought a bow. That's how crazy I was. And I started riding my 10-speed to the mountains and hunting. By the grace of God, I didn't get a deer because I don't know what I'm going to do with a 10-speed.
Yeah.
But that was how much I wanted to hunt. And, you know, had my little Bosch and Long custom compact 7x35s in my pocket here.
Nope.
I remember my first backpack. I had fire starter, hatchet, game bags, you know, all the stuff off the checkoff list. By the end of the season, it's like, okay, I got a bottle of water and a knife. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Hey, was your doll sheep? Was that your first sheep you killed?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was absolutely blessed. That was great hunters. Todd Bogner and Hiram Nelson, were my guides through Mont's group, and they were just consummate professionals. They were just awesome. You know, I had 4 knee surgeries, so I was really leery about, you know, type of time in the field. I spent a lot of time the year prior hiking my butt off, and because I did not want, you know, you do an investment like that, and the last thing you want to do is fail because you didn't prepare. That was every day in my head.
Yeah.
I was blessed. Beautiful.
That's good.
Of course, you know, I get drawn for bighorn eventually.
Eventually.
Be 90 before that happens. Gum it to death. Okay, so we had two more segments. So we
Okay.
talked about setting people up. Start with some of the features on your site.
Okay.
And let me see what I got here. Okay. Yeah, I can go to a switch screen, or actually, why don't you do that? You can share your screen, right?
I should be able to.
So why don't you pop up your site and show us the features you want to explain to people
Okay. You want me to do that right now or wait until you tell
as
me?
soon as we pick up. Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Dan, you ready?
Here we go.
I have to wake him up every now and then.
Spartans, lay down your weapons. Come and get them.
Hey folks, Mulan Lave, Saturday, Philip Naiman, Firing Night Radio Show. I hope you're having a great day. I'm here with Austin from Huntinfool.com. Huntinfool.com is a website that's going to help you get some information so you don't have to golf through the month of October and November. Yeah, if you like to golf, that's great, but we don't want you to have to golf. That's the point here. Austin, you've got a website you're talking about that has several different features to help people get this information. For those of you who are on our YouTube channel, you'll see it. If you're listening along at home, check us out on the YouTube page. I'll try and explain what he's showing as best I can, but pictures are better than words, and especially if I'm the one describing it. So Austin, why don't you give us a shot here?
Yeah, for sure. So when users come to huntinfool.com, you can see we've got just a plethora of opportunities from maps to draw odds and all of these things in between, trying to put all your research together. One of our top items that people use is we keep up with all state deadlines so that you can see in chronological order what is coming up next. We do not want you to miss some of these deadlines. It's so critical in some states to have your point bought on time, your application submitted on time, so that you have those opportunities as they come up.
So we talked about a few things about how busy the spring comes, right? So as you're pulling up the state draw deadlines for 2022, folks, 2028 for sheep, moose, and mountain goat, Wyoming's closing. March 3rd, you can scroll up a little bit. You got Utah, bucks and bulls, Nevada's March 7th. March 16th, you've got New Mexico. So all these things are happening. And it's not like at the end of the month, it's during the month. It's the 16th, it's the 23rd, it's the 7th. Hey, that's my anniversary. I better write that down. March 7th, mule deer rifle guide, Nevada. I bet you that's what my wife wants. I'll get her a rifle tag for Nevada for our 30th anniversary. She'll love me for that. Okay, so North Dakota. North Dakota is a great place to hunt also, and South Dakota for mule deer. People don't realize that. Wyoming, Montana comes up in April. So all these things are happening in this next month, and that's why it's important to have a service like what Austin offers you. Go ahead, Austin.
100%. It's important to stay up on it. And sometimes it's very complicated to find this information direct from the state on your own. So
Yes.
we provide you that center hub of where you can get everything. If you want to view it in a cleaner fashion, where we compare state versus state, we're going to have all that information there. For example, you go to the state of Colorado, you say, what is it going to cost me in Colorado for a license and for a hunt? Well, everything on our
About
website is
$100.
up.
Yeah.
Yep. Always $100 bucks.
Around.
Less than a tank of gas these days. Right?
Oh, geez. There we go. So you've got that. You've got the fees that are showing you on that. You have a cost calculator. You have a cost calculator that shows if I want to get in this draw strategy, how much am I willing to put into a year to try and have an opportunity for a better hunt over the next 2, 3, 5 years, right?
That's right. Yeah, it really comes down to how much you're willing to spend on that and what makes the most sense for your future and for your investments.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, some guys say, you know what you're talking about is too complicated. It's too much for me. Don't you have a service that can do this for me? And that's an additional service we provide for our members at Huntinfool is we can apply for you. We can submit your applications using your credit card information as if it was a secretary doing it for you. Let us navigate all these states. Let us build you your points and apply you for your tags, and set it, forget it. We'll call you when you draw, and you've got an awesome opportunity coming.
So let's just say I want to do this. So I say, hey, Austin, I want a really good elk hunt and mule deer hunt and a black bear hunt. And then I don't care which states, and you'll find the best odds for me and work that out. And if I don't get drawn this year, we have points for next year, or you can help find somebody with an over-the-counter tag this year in those areas. They do whatever you want for that, correct?
Exactly. I build a portfolio on you and what your expectations are. Do you like to ride horses? Do you like to hike a lot? Are you scared of the wilderness and grizzly bears? Are you, what you want to hunt? What size of deer do you want to see? Do you want to hunt in August or September, or October? We build all of that and then find the best hunts for you based on our research, so you don't have to navigate through all this, because your time is valuable. This is our job, and we help a ton of people do this so they can have hunts and not waste all their time in the spring trying to figure out what to do.
Now, you also have giveaways, well, drawings. People have to put in money for it, but you do have drawings going forward that allow an opportunity. And it was kind of interesting because the outfitter I used for Alaska, actually, let me just jump back one step here. You mentioned grizzly bears. People are afraid of grizzly bears. Dude, they are amazing. They are the strongest, toughest. I could not have nothing but respect for these things. They live up there eating gophers and berries and dead stuff, and they're the strongest animal that I've ever seen. They're absolutely amazing. If you're not scared of grizzly bears, you've never seen one outside of the zoo. You should have healthy respect for them. Do not underestimate a bear, even a small bear. They're unbelievable animals. Anyway, so I hunted with Mont from Alaska Doll Sheep Guides, and again, Todd Bogner and Hiram Nelson were my guides actually in the field. I was lucky enough to have two guys, and the reason is I ended up with two. Is one of the hunters landed in the plane, looked at the mountains, and said that I can't do it, and went home. That to me is like heartbreaking. You put all that time and effort into, maybe he didn't put any effort into it, but I mean, I hiked my rear end off all over those mountains, carrying all kinds of stupid weight in the middle of summer to be able to do that, and to not do it because you failed to prepare, I think it's just heartbreaking. Anyway, I ended up with two guides with me because the other guy had nothing to do. But you guys gave away that exact hunt last month, I think it was, right?
Yep. And we chose this guy that killed this really nice doll sheep for a picture to promote that hunt. I assume you've seen him before.
We don't want to pollute the show with that. But yeah, it was funny because somebody called me up and says, hey, is this you? And it was a picture of that beautiful 40.5-inch ram we took out of the Wrangles. And yeah, that was me on the website. So I think Mont owes me a free hunt for that promotional activity.
There you go. Well, just like everything we do, we're trying to help hunters go on hunts that they maybe didn't know they could go on, they didn't know about, and find these opportunities. And a part of that is those giveaways that we do. So we go out and purchase full price. We pay full retail for all of these hunts. Some of the best hunts that maybe you couldn't afford, maybe you never thought you could go on, and then we give those away every single month. So these aren't like your typical donated raffle hunts that maybe you've seen from other agencies. This is the cream of the crop from the best outfitters we can secure hunts with. And then in turn, we give those away to our members each month and make someone's day, make their life, right? Their lifetime hunting goals come true.
So if you're a member, you have to buy application? How does it work exactly?
Yeah, so it's kind of an application process. You can buy as many application entries as you would like to get better odds, but easiest and cheapest way to get in is to refer your friends to Huntinfool. If you're a member of Huntinfool already, you refer somebody else, boom, we give you free entries in to win these hunts every
All right,
month.
guys. Every time you sign up, guys, write in Firing Line Radio Show sent you.
That's right. And you'll get some entries in just for sending somebody. So we call it a membership drive, trying to bring more people into the fold and in turn give away some phenomenal hunts.
So what we're talking about here is he's scrolling through. You got the Yukon stone sheep hunt. Yukon is more expensive than Dall sheep, and they're very great animals. They're very close, but they're very great animals. He's got a 2022 New Mexico private land elk hunt. New Mexico, that northwest corner of New Mexico's got some amazing bull animals, bull elk up there. British mountain goat hunts. Now we saw some mountain goats on our hunt in Alaska up there. And what else you got?
That's it
That's
for
all
this
that's up
month.
there.
Yep. So every month we change it. We rotate around. Sometimes it's moose, sometimes it's brown bear, grizzly bear, sometimes it's desert sheep. There's no hunt too big or too small for us to give away.
Very nice. Very nice. So what about the resources? You have a mapping service.
We do. So we have a full 3D map on our website to help you with your e-scouting so you can see where you want to go. We have topo overlays. We kind of have every opportunity and every tool that you need on our website to help you plan a successful hunt.
Do you have a heat seeker on there?
No, that is
I want
not
thermal
out
imaging
yet.
so I can scout at home with my cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And
No, we don't have any live satellite views or anything like that. I'm sorry.
I know, got to work with the government for that stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break here. Folks, Philip Naiman, Firing Line Radio Show. Check out the video on YouTube.com/Firing Line Radio. Check them out at huntinfool.com. You're going to need this service if you want to hunt. It's a great way to go. We'll be right back after this. Austin, that's 3 in the can. Is there something special you want to go over this last segment?
Trying to think. Could we go through? I do enjoy talking about youth opportunities, like guys getting tags for their kids and stuff. I think that's a good one to bring up. If you wanted to go down that road a little bit, we could.
Yep.
Anything else you're thinking of, or?
Yep.
You can always tell hunt stories, but I don't know how much you get into that. I listened to your story with Todd and Hiram there.
Well, we didn't talk about the bear.
Yeah,
And
because you
talk
shot
about
that.
coming downhill
You shot that bear right before you left, right towards the end of the hunt.
from camp. Well, I had, I had, like I said, I had 4 knee surgeries. And so hiking down, my hunting pack with my gun and everything and the food weighed about 70 pounds. It's supposed to be about 50, but then you add on 12 pounds of rifle equipment and your food, you're going to be about 70. So I carried the skull, the skin, and a quarter down the hill. So I was weighing about 120, 130 pounds on my back. And we went all the way down. We had the cliffs of insanity we had to cross. It was just, finally, by the time we got to our last camp, my left leg, which only had 1 surgery on it, right leg had 3, blew up. I could put 0 weight on it.
Oof.
And so, but we were done. My sheep was in the bag. I was absolutely blessed to go through all of that and be down safe. And I'm 50 yards from the strip. And the last canyon we crossed, it wasn't even a canyon, it was a riverbed, but it had a strip of alders in it. It just loaded with grizzly tracks. And I'd already bought a grizzly tag. We'd seen 4 of them already. Well, 2 of them, they never left us alone. They were like 2 young ones.
Yeah.
Called them Beavis and Butthead. They were everywhere. Makes you sleep good at night. But anyway, so we crossed that last track just full of grizzly prints. I said, guys, that grizzly's gonna pop up right there. It's like 300 yards from camp. And they're laughing. So we're cooking some sheep, and the wind's blowing this way. That way's the alders. And I couldn't even sit down because I couldn't get up with my knees. So I'm standing there. I got my boots undone. And I look up and there's the bear. And I go, there's the bear. And they go, let's go. So I grab my rifle and my bullets, and my boots are undone. I'm trailing shoelaces because the bear is right there. I'm hopping on one foot across the riverbed over the rocks because my left leg is dead. A couple hundred yards. So it was just, I wish I had that on video because that would be yeah. Yeah, and like I said, so he got hit. I hit him 4 lethal shots. And after the first shot, I'm spinning. And it's like, shoot again. So shot him in the hair. I hit him in the hips as he's spinning. And then I did miss once. And then I put another one through the chest. So I have 2 broadsides. And then as he's coming, he squared up to us and we're coming to him. And at about 25 yards, I put one right here, right under his chin. And he goes back down and he comes back up and put another one right in the center as he's looking at me at about 20 feet. He wasn't coming. He was pretty hurt at that time, but he wasn't giving up either. The guy goes, there's a lot of life left in him. You know how they always understate everything?
Yeah.
And I shot him again, and he finally, about 10 seconds later, just rolled over. I'm like, oh, what the hell was that about? You know, and Todd had shot and he hit him in the elbow. Actually, I'm blaming that shot on Todd. And it's just, you look at what they can do, amount of how they climb up those mountains and they just literally jog up the hill. Your horse couldn't do that. They jog up the hill. They dig holes 18 inches deep, 10-foot diameter to try and get a ground spool. I mean, unbelievable animals. So yeah, that was my bear issue.
That's great.
So yeah, it was nice because he was so close to the plane. I literally had to use walking sticks to get back to the. I was done. I was hardly standing up at all. I finished when we landed back in Tok, Alaska. I'm almost crippled. I got walking sticks for everything and come off the plane. And I asked the gal who's working up there, I said, hey, you don't have an extra pair of crutches, do you? He goes, no, but there's some over there. Literally, there was a pair of crutches leaning against a trash can across the street. Hey, thank you, Lord. It's a sign of good living.
That's funny.
That was it. And yeah, my knee just blew up. So I'll probably have to have a replacement on that, but I'm delaying it as long as I can. That's my life.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pick it up. We'll do one of your hunting stories. And we'll do youth. And do you have any specials you guys have right now?
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit. Like our application services, if we apply you, we apply all your youth hunters for free, no charge from us.
Okay.
That's kind of always been our policy to try to get more youth out there.
What's your favorite animal to hunt?
Sheep, definitely sheep.
And how many times have you been?
So I guide sheep for Mont.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I guided for him for 12 seasons now.
Oh, nice. Where did he put you last year?
I was just over the mountain about 5 miles north of you guys in that next big drainage. I had a client over there, and so yeah, it was fun.
Were you with that one older guy that was chasing around that 42-incher or something?
Yep, him and his son, and the son ended up killing one, and then he wanted to leave and left and went home, and then left the dad there. Yeah, it was a little interesting. But I love hunting sheep. I've guided 26 doll sheep, and then I've killed one myself. I've killed Rocky myself. Been on a bunch of Rocky hunts and desert hunts, but I haven't drawn a desert tag yet.
Right. No, I think it was just the thing with Alaska. It's hard to explain how vast it is. You know, you're on your own. That's this thing. I mean, my leg was killing, but I was going to carry my stuff out. I wasn't going to put it on those guys because they got to carry their stuff out too.
Yeah.
But it's like the movie Alien. In Alaska, nobody can hear you scream.
Mm-hmm.
is just so big. I
Yep.
just can't get over that. You're looking 70 miles over glaciers that, nobody can get to because of where the terrain is. You're not crossing that glacier field and you're not climbing the mountains around it. It's just
Yep.
without a plane, you're not getting there, period. It really was an interesting place.
Pretty
Well, that's
wild.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, let's talk about that. Mont's out there in Cedar City, I think, or St. George right now, isn't he?
Yeah. He bounces between the sunshine and then the dark, cold winter of Alaska.
I don't think he hangs out in the dark cold. I think as soon as season's up, he's wheels up, heading south.
I would be.
Oh yeah, that's a rough life. But you knew Todd from before?
Oh yeah. So I've kind of been partners with Mont for 12 years. So we invited Todd up a few years back and Hiram, and yeah, I know all the guides.
Yeah, they were Todd. Todd is about the most understated person in a conversation you're ever going to run into.
Yeah.
And then you realize he's been professionally guiding for 40 years.
So
his
long.
experience is so off the charts. How do you get that?
Yeah, a ton of experience. Yeah, I've hunted quite a bit right with Todd, and always enjoyed it.
Okay, well, let's finish this last deal here. Dr. Dan, you ready?
Yes. Great hunter. Yes. Fine figure of a man. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That is all you need to know for now.
Hey folks, welcome back to Firing Line Radio Show. This is Philip Naiman here with Austin from Huntinfool, huntinfool.com. And we're going to give you all you need to know for now. We're going to make you a great hunter. How do you do that? You join over at huntinfool.com, become a member, take a look at these concierge services. See, Austin is understating. He's saying, I'm like a secretary. I do this. He's like a concierge. He's like, like the high roller table. If you walk in and you see these high rollers and everybody comes and that's the kind of service you're looking at when you go through Huntinfool. So huntinfool.com. Now, those of you on the radio show who didn't watch this on YouTube, you don't know the conversation we just had. And I just found out that Austin is actually a renowned sheep guide. He works with Alaska Doll Sheep Guide Services with Mont, and he happened to be in Alaska when I was in Alaska, just over the hill from me. So Austin, tell us a little bit about your guiding adventures this year.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed guiding sheep. I can't afford to go on it every year, but working as a guide,
$100.
yeah, just $100. But working as a guide, I feel like I still get to have the experience and help someone's dreams come true. So this year was an exceptional season. The weather was overall pretty good. I'm used to, losing half of our days up there to rainy, sitting in the tent,
Fog.
Yeah, doing nothing but reading a book. But the weather was decent this year. I love Alaska because it's so vast and so remote. Oftentimes we think Alaska is just like full of animals and there's just animals everywhere. No, it's just a lot of land with very few animals and no towns, no city, no infrastructure. It's kind of my escape time to get dropped off by a little Super Cub airplane and to just have what's on your back for 10 days or more and be in touch with nature, with our creator, and be out in the wild. I love my time up there.
See, I think it's great to be in touch with nature. In Alaska, you have to watch out. Nature doesn't get in touch with you.
Yeah, that's right. Literally everything we do in Alaska is dangerous. Not just flying in the airplanes, but hiking, the rocks, the steep cliffs. There's small earthquakes all around.
The glaciers.
Rivers. The glaciers are alive and moving. The rivers are deathly cold and raging, and you have to cross them on foot. I mean,
and full of silt. Yeah.
Everything is a pain. Everything's trying to kill you, and not just the animals, but the weather. Everything is out to break your equipment, break you down emotionally, physically, and that's why I love it.
It's interesting because it is, and we got together because you saw my hunt with Mont, but you have to have a determination on this that if you're going to do that, you're going to you know, they'll have to carry you out dead, but you have to do everything you can on your end. You can't. I've seen there's camp hunts, right? Where guys come into the camp and he shoots his animal and the guy goes out, takes care of it and brings it back while the guy's having brandy. That's fine. That's not Alaska. Alaska, you have to be prepared to do your part because it's you and the guide and everybody's carrying their own stuff. They're all doing their own thing. So you can share the weight of the animal, but you've got to have the mindset that you can't quit. You know, you have to do that or don't go to Alaska, because in Alaska, nobody can hear you scream.
That's so true. And guys struggle with that emotionally. I mean, sometimes I turn into a little bit of a therapist as a guide in Alaska, trying to help people through these hard times. Like, you did not just book a vacation to Cancun. This is not going to be hunky-dory. Like, this is, as another famous guide says, cold, wet, and miserable. That's what you're paying for. And when you come,
and I'm here to deliver that.
Yes. And I'll make sure we eat freeze-dried food out of a bag, sleep on the ground, and all your stuff's going to be wet by day 2. So let's go.
Yeah, we actually got really lucky. The gear was fantastic. We used the Kuyu tent, the footprint. I bought the extra footprint. We were sleeping in a bog, kept everything dry. It was really amazing. We only had a couple of days of rain, but I guess the weather for Alaska is the weather for Alaska, just what's going to happen there. And the freeze-dried food, I'm sorry, folks, but the new Peak One foods, they're freaking amazing. It's almost, I shouldn't let the cat out of the bag that we're not eating Spam and dying up there. It's actually some really good food now, which is easy to cook with your jet boil or whatever. So that was a nice pack. And get your Peak One coffees too. Don't forget those.
It definitely has. We've improved our technology and our comforts in the field, but if you come into it and you're too soft mentally, it's still going to be tough. You have to realize you don't have a cell phone, you don't have your computer, you don't have your car, and that messes with people's heads after a few days out in the wilderness. But I love that alone time, because I know at the end of the hunt, I'm going to come back home to my family, come back home to my comforts, but I'm going to be willing to suffer here for a few days or weeks and enjoy it. When it's over, it's going to be worth it.
There's a Fast Eddie's pizza in Toke waiting for you.
That's right.
So, now, one of the other things that's amazing about hunting is it's a family event. You know, we may be dads and sons or daughters, or just as a family as a whole, maybe the whole family likes to do that. So encouraging that, you guys have done a few specials for that, right?
For sure. Like anybody that joins our application services, and we help apply you in all the states that we work in, we'll apply all of your youth hunters at no cost. We don't even charge for that. We really want youth hunters to have these experiences. And not only our fees at Huntinfool, but most state fees are severely discounted for youth hunters. So if you've got a youth hunter that you should probably start around 9 or 10 years old, looking at some of these states up till they're 18, you can get sometimes pennies on the dollar for what it costs an adult to hunt for their licenses and their non-refundable fees. There's no reason to not be applying your youth hunters in Western states to go on hunts for everything from sheep to elk, deer, antelope, and everything in between.
And their odds are better. There's far fewer applying for it. So their odds are much better than yours as an adult. And what a kick would that be to take your 16-year-old up and have a fantastic hunt for an animal that they'll probably not be able to draw again for 20 years.
100%. Some states reserve permits just for youth hunters to encourage them to go. And we'll help them navigate all those processes depending on how old your youth hunter is, what weapon they're willing to shoot. But there's no excuse to wait until your kid's in high school to decide if they want to hunt. You need to get them out early and experiencing things, get behind the trigger, learn some hunter safety tactics, and go hunt when they're little.
You know, you said 9 and 10. Now, I would say that I think in California, you have to be 12 to get it. But in the states that you could apply, why not at least get them a preference point for those 9 or 10? Maybe they're not going to hunt when they're 9 or 10. Maybe that is, in your opinion, with that child too young. but you can get them a preference point for those 2 years. So when they're ready, when they're 12 or 13 or whatever the age you determine that they should go at, as a parent, I believe in choice. Whatever you decide that they should go at, they have 3, 4, 5 points. Now you're actually able to go. The same strategy you have as hunting as an adult, you should be implementing with your kids. I'm getting preference points for my grandkids that aren't born yet. Check that out.
No, you definitely need to plan early. So I have 6 children myself. They're all under the age of 10, but my oldest is in hunter safety right now. She just applied for first hunts in Arizona because you have to be 10 years old in Arizona. That's one of the younger states. New Mexico, there is
And by
no
the time
age
she's 30, she can hunt area 10.
limit. That's right. But I want her to have that opportunity. If she decides not to be a hunter, that's great too. I'll still love her the same, but I want her to have
No
a
matter
chance
who
to-
raises her.
Yeah, that's right. But we eat a lot of wild game in my house. My kids know where it comes from, and I want them to have that opportunity as they get older.
It's an amazing thing because, well, I grew up in Southern California, and it is not a hunting culture. You know, if your kids are growing up in Cedar City, it's hunting. Prescott, Arizona, it's a hunting culture. You know, you see it. I was at the In-N-Out Burger here in Prescott. 3 kids walked in camo. I said, "Hey, how'd your hunt go?" They're archery hunting out in Peoples Valley. They got a 3-pointer that day. They're jazzed, like 16, 17 years old. I mean, you don't see that in California. They'd be calling in SWAT teams or something like that. But it's a hunting and the outdoors are an amazing therapeutic. Like you said, it puts you together in Alaska. When I was younger and I was hiking those hills, it kept me out of trouble. You know, you're up early, you're going gangbusters all day long, and the only thing you want to do is get 2 big gulps at 7-Eleven at the bottom of the hill. And then back then I drank the sugar ones, but you needed it. You were gone all day and totally spent on the hills and loved every minute of it. And I think that that's just something that we need to pass on to our heirs. So folks, I want to thank my special guest, Austin from Huntinfool, huntinfool.com. Check them out there, folks. Get a membership, get involved, get your family involved, and have a great weekend. God bless. You clear? Did Dan fall off the face of the earth? Dr. Dan? Oh, Dan.
I was in the Ukraine.
You're in a bathroom.
I do need to. But
Is that
no,
our
I
is that our
wasn't.
new name for the bathroom? Oh, I'm in the Ukraine.
That would work for me.
Gotta take a Biden.
Yeah, that would work. We know what that is.
Taking Biden to the pool. All right.
So if Biden did not allow the pipeline in Russia, none of this would have happened. Yes.
Well, how about this? How about the sanctions that are on the pipeline? You do understand the pipeline is not constructed. So now you can't import any oil from that pipeline that's not flowing any oil.
Well, on our
That's a good sanction.
we get 10 million gallons a week or something like that from Russia. We're getting Russian oil because he shut down all the. This is so upside down.
Totally.
Why is he not impeached? Why is there?
Yeah, exactly.
marching in
Well,
the
because they
streets, they
control the
really
Congress. He should
They
be
control the
impeached.
media.
Yeah.
You know why? I'll tell you why. Because sponge chin, square pants, Mitch McConnell needs to go. He is the
They
biggest
all
of the
need
best.
to go.
Well, we'll start with him on our side. We'll clean house. Everybody with the D's got to go. That's a given. But for the R's, we've got to get rid of the Nancy Grahams, the sponge chin, square pants. Look at Utah. Help me out here. What is up with your senators not showing up for the vote? You got Mike Lee. He was somebody said at one point in time he's a turd, and Mitchie.
Well, he only
Mittens?
became a Utah citizen so he get elected.
What about Mitten?
Yeah, it's useless. Totally
Yeah.
useless.
This is the conservative state, and you have 2 idiot senators. The
I
R
know.
means nothing. You know, Republican. Well, yeah, but if they don't vote for it, or they don't show up, or they vote the wrong way, like McCain always used to do. I mean, you'd better get them to run for office. I'll vote for you. I'll move there to vote for you.
I
know
was
what a mess.
was supposed to speak this morning at 10, and they delayed it till 10:30 our time. Then they delayed it till No, it was supposed to be 9. They delayed it till 9:30. Then they delayed it to 10:30, and we're still waiting on him.
They can't wake him up.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I think they go to a couple of jumper cables and the battery. Wake him up.
Camel will come out.
Kakala, the
Yeah,
Joker.
should be our president.
It's a
Biden
bad
couldn't
deal.
handle it.
Just drop the
Oh,
curtain.
here he comes. He's coming out now. Want to do your promo?
Yeah, might as well.
Now that I got you all inspired and PO'd.
You do bring out the best in me, Dan.
Oh, I think we're all PO'd. Go ahead.
Hey folks, Philip Naiman, Firing Line Radio Show, heard Saturdays at 1 o'clock on AM 590. Check us out at firinglineradio.com for the podcast. This week, my special guest is Austin from Huntinfool, huntinfool.com. Find out more about their services, why you need them, and check them out, huntinfool.com. Philip Naiman, Saturday 1 o'clock, firinglineradio.com.
Darn good. Who needs a stinking script?
I don't know, let's
All
make it up anyway.
Exactly.
Austin, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You can download this off of the YouTube channel or just use the podcast, use it wherever you want. We don't care. You know, it's yours to, well, it's evidence. If you want to deny you're ever on the show, you'd have to just delete it all. But
Delete it.
you can use it wherever you want. We're happy to help you any way you can. And that's it. So I need to get in touch with you. I signed up for your service and see what you can do to salvage me year this year.
Sounds good. Yeah, let us know. We'll help you out anytime. I'm love to help.
All right. Thanks, buddy. You guys have a great day.
Okay, you too. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
All righty.